Tour 24. That was a tough one. That race, I think it was over before it even started. Day of the race. It's cold. It's gonna be raining. The forecast is overcast for most of the time. Perfect running weather. Great to keep cool. Hopefully it lasts. I had a really simple goal to start. I was gonna stick under 165 beats per minute heart rate, which was roughly, that's the very top of my Z3, a little bit lower than the top of Z3, just to be safe. My goal was to let everyone go, just go at my own speed, see what happens, to kind of save energy for later in the race. That was the idea. And it was working. It was working great. Got into the first life base, and I don't know what place I was in. I wasn't too worried about it, but I had lots of energy, feeling great, got a couple snacks, and I was out of there. And I caught up with Damien on the next climb. We chatted. Things were really, really looking good. Got over that coal, down into Reims. Perfect. This is the best time split I've ever had to Reims. And we started up, Damien and I, Damien Hall, and we started up this climb, the next coal, and we got out of the forest onto the little bit of a plateau before you start the final climb, and it was still daylight. And this is by far the furthest I've ever been in daylight. So I was thinking, unbelievable. Things are going so well right now. Well, that didn't last for very long because we started up the steep section, put the headlamp on. Now it was nighttime. We've got about half of the climb left, but things started to feel way more difficult than I anticipated. Fortunately, I had a pre-call with my coach, Coach David Roach, who I share a coach with Damien. So I'm telling Damien, hey, listen, when we were on the call, he gave me this great piece of advice, and he said, things always feel way harder earlier in the race than you remember. So I was like, hey Damien, it just sucks right now because we can't remember how much it sucked last time we were here at this point. But deep down, I'm like, yeah, this is a little rougher than I was anticipating. Like this is bad. We're only 10 hours into this and not feeling so good. Crested the col, that was fine. And then we started coming down and my body started to seize up a little bit. I just wasn't running smoothly downhill, which I normally, some of that descent is beautiful. It's really easy running and you can really cruise it, but I couldn't. Like my muscles were just really sore and I wasn't fluidly moving. Evil Martin passes me, so that's like, whoa, like what's going on here? Evil Martin passed me on the descent. That was really demoralizing. Keep going, I lost Damien. I don't actually know how I lost him. And I think he took a wrong turn and he was lost. I'm now down into the forest, almost at the next life base, and sneaky Louis Calais, Mr. Sneaky, comes up, runs right by me. He's a very good descender, but still, he shouldn't have been running by me this quickly. He passed me easily and he's gone. And I just can't get the fluid running going. Going to the aid station, I'm like, hey, to my crew chief Pops and Big Mama, hey, someone's not feeling very right here. Like this is really rough. Like I don't remember feeling this rough and like things don't feel right. I don't know what it is. Anyway, they're giving me the pep talk, eat some food, eat some soup, and I'm out of there. I leave Rousseau alone, the aid station, heading up for Col-de-Son. Things don't get any better. I'm degrading still. I'm in a downward spiral of negative thoughts. Just a really dark place, and I can't kick it. Typically in these situations, I can zoom out, you know, this really crappy situation, I'm gonna get over it. It happens in ultras all the time, but I couldn't do that this time. I just wasn't able to remove myself from the situation and just zoom out. So frustrating. And I knew what to do, and I couldn't do it. I was like, I just couldn't kick these negative thoughts. By the time I got to the steep part of the climb, the very end of the climb, which is about a 2.5 hour to 3 hour climb, I am miserable. And I don't know what it is. It's a beautiful night, it's crisp, it's cool, the stars are out. I couldn't kick it. Damien Hall catches me, and he's like Mr. Happy Pants, Mr. Positivity, and that actually, for some reason, had the opposite effect on me, made me even worse. But he was being really nice. He tried to help me out, help me kick it. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't kick it. And by the time I got to Col-de-Son, the peak, I was done. I was like, I can't go on. I cannot foresee how I can finish this race. Like it's hurting so much right now. It's just miserable. I don't really want to be here anymore. And I don't know what it is. I didn't have the forza, the animo, the willpower. When I reached down into my reserves of mental fortitude, I just had nothing left in the tank. There's nothing there. And really, I think this race was over before it even started and I just didn't realize it. Coming off the coal, I'm descending like the Tin Man. I've pretty much thrown it in. I know I'm done. Mentally, I cannot believe how poorly I'm descending, which is usually my strength. I can normally descend quite well, but now I'm doing a terrible job. I get to the Refugio Cella and I sit there and I just put my head on the table and I'm just totally done. I'm miserable. I don't even want to move. I don't want to make the 1,000-meter descent down to where I'm gonna message my crew and tell them to pick me up. One of the magical things about the tour actually happened when I was sitting there in my sea of negativity. And that was all the runners who were coming after me and they were gunning for top podium positions came and they said, hey, what's wrong? They actually sat down, some of them, and would talk to me and try and convince me to keep going, trying to encourage me while they're putting their race in jeopardy. Or at least, taking some time out of the race. And they even were offering, I'm like, hey, I can't move, my legs are shot and I don't know what's wrong. And they're like, hey, I'll walk you down the 1,000-meter descent and then you'll be fine. You'll get down, get lower elevation and things will start clicking again. And like, it was unbelievable seeing the support from the top competitors when really they would have zoomed in and out of there in 2 seconds. And they were taking 5-10 minutes to try and cheer me up and encourage me to keep going. And I remember even Katharina, who set the women's course record, took time, sat down, and started talking to me about the benefits of continuing, which I thought was like, oh, this is really surreal experience right now. I got out there eventually. I walked down that 1,000-meter descent, threw in the towel, I was done. Drove to the life base in Caen and handed in my bib and cried on the inside. Leading up to the race, there were tons of red flags. But leading up to a race, no matter what happens, I'm always gonna put a positive spin on it. And nothing's gonna be negative or worrisome leading up to the race. It's all good, it's all part of the plan. At least that's the mentality I try to take. And I learned that one from one of my favorite goalies, ice hockey goalies back in the day when I was growing up, Toronto Maple Leafs fan. And there's this goalie called Curtis Joseph Cujo. And I remember him saying any goal that he allows is not his fault. It's somebody else's fault. And that way he could keep the utmost confidence. His confidence was 100%. Like if no one else made a mistake, he would not allow a single goal, which in ice hockey you allow about 2 to 3 per game on average. So to think this way, I was like, oh, that's really fascinating. Okay, I'm gonna deploy that kind of strategy leading up to races, key races especially. So I have been, and looking back, it's much easier to see the red flags. And I think there were 3 big reasons that really set me up for failing, for the DNF, the big DNF. Oh, that hurts a little bit. And then looking back on the training and all of the 3 issues I'm gonna tell you about, I felt like that meme of the bare knuckle boxer who says, oh, I'm having a great time, I'm having a blast. It was really fun, but it was really tough. And her face is just like absolutely mangled.
I'm super excited. It was really tough. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different ball game, but I had a blast, so thank you.
So breaking down the 3 problems. The first one is something that I had, a couple of these actually were similar to when I DNF'd the tour in 2021. Leading in, this year was awful for races and my pre-races. I like to get one race in that's a 100-miler, that's really long through the night kind of deal. But this year, with the cancellations from weather and the races being shortened or just awful, I hadn't raced for longer than 9 hours. And I think not having that stimulus and going that deep, digging that deep really doesn't do well for me. I need to have that stimulus almost as a reminder and to train that willpower to go through the really hard times that you just don't get in a 9-hour race. Number 2, no altitude training. And this actually ties in with number 3, but no altitude training, I was too wrecked from life through the summer to do it and just didn't get anything done. And I showed up to altitude on the Tuesday before the tour, headed down to Courmayeur on the Friday. So I had 3 nights, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, that's right. 3 nights at altitude, which actually some people would argue is detrimental versus beneficial for your altitude training. And the big one is I think I just had too much life. Life was just punching me right in the face. And it was, we were moving our family, moving countries. So we moved from Slovenia to Italy at the beginning to mid-August. And that was just way more intensive than I anticipated. We were self-moving, so we hired a van and I drove back and forth. And some days I was driving 16 hours while unpacking both sides. And it was just so much. And then moving here, we're living out of boxes, sleeping on the ground, sleeping on air mattresses. The kids aren't in school, obviously it's August. And so we were taking care of the kids, trying to get our work done, trying to train for a tour and unpack and furnish a house. And I just couldn't handle it. It was too much. And I think it just wore me down and I really had no reserves, no energy, and I wasn't recovering from the big training at all. And what that even accumulates in is not only was I overstressing during the day, I was under recovering because I was getting such little sleep after working, training with the kids and getting all the stuff done, unpacking the house, I was getting probably 6 to 5 hours of sleep a night, which is not enough for me, especially during heavy training. Another thing was the actual lack of training, because since I was doing all these other things, and it's a good thing I didn't see this prior, because I don't think I could have spun a positive out of this, that I only was in the mountains doing specific training for the tour for 9 days. I had 5 mountain days shoved into these 9 days of late mid-August, which is way less than I've ever done. And also, that's a huge stimulus. It breaks you down. I'm not recovering. And I think that was probably the nail in the coffin. These are kind of big days. I'm just looking at, so there were the 5 days, and I think, it was an 8-hour day. The shortest day was just under 3 hours. So average of about 6-hour days. So 5 6-hour days in a 9 day block, and then into taper, then the tour. And just like, what am I, an idiot? I know better than that. So this one wrapped up in a DNF. It's a bummer. I will be back. I've got unfinished business here. That's a DNF. Taking it on the chin. Thanks for watching. And you got any questions or comments about the tour or any other 200 miler, let me know in the section below. Ciao. And yes, if you're counting at home, that was 4 reasons, not 3. Little bonus in there for you. Anyway, that's the 4 reasons why I DNF'd the 2024 Tour de Chile. Ciao, ciao.